10 home buying secrets most buyers don't know but should. Thinking about buying a home? Whether you're a first-time buyer or maybe it's been a few years, there's more to it now than just browsing some listings on Zillow and booking some showings. As a professional realtor who's walked hundreds of buyers through the process in many a home, I've seen some real game changers in the last few years. I'm here to share my behind the scenes tips that can make or break your home buying experience. Hi, I'm Rhonda with Comey and Shepherd Realtors here in the Cincinnati and Dayton areas of Ohio. I've been in this business for 10 years. A lot has changed over that time frame, but also the more things change, the more they stay the same. There's some things that maybe you thought were gone that are still here. Let's jump in and talk about those now. So at number 10, I know this is probably not a huge shock, but your realtor does matter more than you think. I know. Surprising for an agent to say that, but not all agents are created equal. And the right realtor does more than open doors. We analyze the local market. We catch red flags that maybe you would have not thought of just because we've experienced so many inspections, inspection reports. We deal with this stuff every single day. We also write strategic offers that win. We have great relationships with other agents that also help us win. We help protect your investment. We never want you to pay more than you absolutely have to for a property unless you say money is no object. That does not happen very often, I will tell you. Experience, communication, and negotiation skills do make a massive difference. Choose someone who's truly in your corner, and you also want an agent who isn't just sitting around waiting for a house to pop up on Zillow, but an agent that is being proactive about maybe finding some off-market opportunities just for you. Number 9, factor in post-close expenses. So, we always talk about payment, but once you get the keys, it's not just champagne and housewarming parties. You do have to have cash or some way to replace things like appliances that you think need replaced. What if you don't have any furniture, or if your furniture doesn't really fit this house? Things like blinds, paint, or even something unexpected that didn't show up on an inspection report. It does happen, unfortunately. But if you can budget for these types of things up front before you buy, then it will save you from financial stress later. And the other thing that I want to just remind you of is there are a lot of homes right now that are not selling very quickly. You can pay top dollar for something that is fully renovated. You don't have to lift a finger, you just move right in. But every single person sees that house and goes, "Oh, I want that one." So you end up paying way more than what it would cost you to do those repairs yourself. So I want you to think about maybe finding one of those homes that does need some updates. It's not necessarily move-in ready, but also in good shape, and you can do some repairs while you live there. Number 8, use all your senses. Photos can be flattering, or there are photos that, I see them and I'm like, ooh, I can smell that house from here. We never know exactly what we're getting into, and this is why it's so important to go and see a house in person. Nothing replaces literally walking through the house yourself, because we need to pay attention to how it smells, how it looks, how it sounds, and even sometimes how it feels. But yeah, are there traffic noises, pet odors, smoke, dampness, or, we're not sure. Maybe it looked fine in the pictures, but when you show up there, that's when you really get the full picture. So make sure that when you find some things that aren't exactly what you were hoping for. Trust your gut. If it's not something that can be easily fixed, you need to just move on. At number 7, read the fine print and ask lots of questions. So, is the washer included? What are the HOA rules? Are there any easements or shared driveways on the property? Are there any upcoming special assessments? Now, I will help you dig through the details, but smart buyers ask early and ask often. Surprises are not fun, especially when you're already under contract. So remember to do that off-site inspection. You want to search crime statistics, maybe noise levels, maybe there are planes that fly or trains that come through that location that you can't see any of that at the time that you're visiting the property. But you also want to Google the address, search the sex offender site, also like zoning and other similar types of things. At number 6, do not max out your budget. Just because the bank approves you for a certain loan amount doesn't mean that you have to spend all of it. Owning a home comes with lots of little costs. And if you like to travel or you have hobbies, things that you want to spend money on, do you really want to completely change your life just because you're buying a home? They call that being house poor. But yes, you might want to leave yourself some cushion. If you know your numbers up front, I think it's a lot easier to kind of make the right choices. Number 5, location trumps square footage most of the time. I'll explain. So a beautifully renovated home in a less desirable area doesn't hold its value as well as one that's in a more sought after neighborhood. We want to think long term. Quality of schools, commute, maybe walkability, safety, and future resale all matter way more than a few extra square feet, unless you have a family of like 9, in which case you may just want the square footage. It really just depends where, who you are. But as a general rule, yes, location is always going to be your best bet. Number 4, look beyond the staging. Pretty pillows and perfectly placed furniture can make a home feel completely irresistible. But staging can also distract or hide flaws. We want you to stay focused, look beyond the surface, check the layout flow, how much natural light is in the house, the closet space, the condition of the major systems. We always check those anyway. Now, I showed a home earlier this year and it was absolutely gorgeous, great lot, lovely area. It was clean, it was decorated perfectly. And after about 5 minutes of being there, my client kind of pulled me aside and she said, "I want this house. What do I have to do to get it?" We discussed a general idea of an offer, and she said she was willing to go no inspections, which I don't necessarily recommend, but sometimes in certain situations it makes sense. But as soon as you say no inspections, well, now we really have to look. So we're opening cabinet doors and we're pretty quickly realizing that the bathrooms had not been renovated at all. This home was at least 25 years old. It also had original kitchen, and even though it was in great shape, it had Formica countertops. It just kind of turns into a whole lot more. So needless to say, we did make an offer. It was not inspection free, but we also did not get that property. Sometimes that happens. All right, at number 3, timing the market is risky, so time your life instead. Now, trying to perfectly predict whether rates are going to drop, prices are going to drop, we're going to have a crash, things are going to go way up, it just ends up leading to a lot of missed opportunities. The best time for you to buy is when it makes sense for you. I will never say, you must buy now, because there's always a good time. Later always exists. Now, you may have to pay more, but if you're not ready, you're not ready. The best time, honestly, is when it makes sense, when you are financially ready, you have peace about moving forward, and you're all in. At number 2, you want to know your all-in monthly costs. It's not just your mortgage. It is taxes and insurance, HOA fees. Some, especially I feel like people coming from an apartment or, this is their absolutely first property, you may want to know a general idea of what the utilities are going to be. Any other ongoing maintenance items. Maybe there needs to be a termite treatment every quarter. Usually when there's structural work, there might be a service fee to have them come back out and service that structural system once a year. HVAC should be serviced. You also have to buy filters. A lot of that stuff is little stuff, but if you've never done it before, sometimes you have to kind of think of all of those things before you just dive in head first. At number 1 and most important, you need to have that pre-approval or proof of funds ready to go. No one loves scrambling at the last minute, trying to get a hold of a lender. You don't know them. You're just trying to get an answer from them. You're giving them a bunch of information, maybe sending them documents. Meanwhile, your realtor is also sending you documents to look at, disclosures to sign, all these things. You don't know what half of it is. I know it's a lot. So first off, we want to make sure that as an agent, we are meeting with you up front. We want to get disclosure signed, anything that we can do prior to writing that first offer. So being able to sit down, kind of go over some of those things in advance helps immensely. Secondly, we want to get that lender connected with you right up. The lender can give you a pretty clear price range or budget that you should stay within. They can give you a loan quote to show you what closing costs are going to be with them. They can also run different scenarios to figure out what your best options actually are. Having that letter also shows that you are serious. In a competitive market, that can really make a big difference between winning and losing your dream home. But I highly recommend that you are getting an approval that is either fully underwritten or the lender has all the documentation up front. They've reviewed everything and they can tell you with certainty that they can close in 2 to 3 weeks. All right, so are you ready to buy smarter? Whether you're just starting to look or you're already deep in the home search, I'd love to help you navigate the process with confidence. Let's talk about your goals, your budget, and the best path forward. Reach out to me directly or click the link in the description to get on my calendar. You can even start a conversation in the comments. But let's find the home where you belong that fits your life and your future. All right, we'll see you next time.